This is officially my first sleep stream. I always wanted to do this. To sit down like this, hold the iPad, start talking some shit. I don't know how well it's the microphone, but I'm pretty sure it's all right. So, what's the topic that came into my mind? Alright, so we're gonna talk about some gang shit. Right now, hold on, yeah. Right now, in my bathroom, it smells like fucking aerosol. And I used to be a major graph artist back in the day. Like a major one. Like a serious guy. With a couple of my friends at first. It started like by myself, and I was like, not by myself, but with like graffiti legends, such as like Cope, the Cope 1 that everyone knows, the Cope 2 that everyone knows, from King Destroy, my stepdad. My father hit that shit up. My father used to, my actual father, once still alive, um, used to piece monumentally, like he used to have abstract shit and people and faces and all that, and in aerosol. But my dad never opened up to me about that shit, which is the worst part about it. He never really opened up. He was Frisco MTR, or just MTR. And obviously, within Puerto Rico, they immediately got replacements or fucking children pick up the same tag instead of being individual. And my dad's probably still up in several areas. Someone's putting my dad up out there still, and the MTR gang from the north side of Puerto Rico. But that shit was my dad, and I remember seeing him doing the outlines of the Prisco and both MTR, and even earlier in life, just pieces in a cement wall in the backyard. He pieced for an eternity. The way he did it in my backyard, an eternity. So, but he quit, 60 something, maybe like 62, 63 now. So he doesn't do that shit no more. My stepdad, who died in a motorcycle accident, used to tag King, King, which is the tag that I picked up around. I started doing King like 2010. 2010 on my own with like 6'9", Takaki 6'9" after. And I had two fonts squared out. Like I had a bubble font. I had bubble with arrows locked down, and I had a Century Gothic or standard gang font, like the calligraphy style gang font, which is like sharp angles, sharp 40-degree angles, and certain letters, not just all of them. And I would do them on paper. And, that's what I would do. Sit down out there all night and do that. So today, at a random, my bathroom smells like fucking aerosol, and I'm like, yeah, that's that gang shit. Someone tagged up tonight. Like, your nose immediately smells fucking paint, and you're like, god damn, son. Someone hit that shit tonight, son. I wonder how big it was and where the fuck it is, but it's a lot. Like, it's like, that candy and that motherfucker, like, oh my goodness. So delicious in here. All of a sudden, I washed my hands after cooking dinner at midnight, and it was just amazing. Just like, damn, son. Someone put it down, son. Someone put it down. It's fucking 2 a.m. Someone fucking did that shit. They flared that shit out. Fucking stanky, covered in paint. So, I met Cope. I'm pretty sure all the graph writers in the world know Cope. Fernando Carlo. I met Fernando Carlo when I was like 11, 12. When I moved to the United States on the 7th grade to go to school. Mother, which is my stepdad's mom, and my stepdad's sister, had an apartment in the Bronx. or a duplex, basically two houses put together that belonged to Fernando Carlo or Fernando. Fernando was the what the heck is the name for the person, the tenant or the landlord or whatever. And Fernando used to know my stepdad since he was young, and I seen him that year, the start of seventh grade, do graffiti in the Bronx, in a mural very close to that apartment in New York City. It's not an apartment, but it's just the Bronx. It's basically in the middle of the Bronx, and the mural you could see it from the highway, like the main Bronx highway. I don't know if it's south or eastbound or whatever the fuck it is, but all I know is that if you're on the left lane driving through the Bronx highway, you could see the huge wall. And it's like fucking a really tall 30-foot wall or whatever. And my stepdad and Cope pieced that shit up when I was in seventh grade there. My little brother wasn't there. My stepbrother, my stepsister were not there, and I'm guessing I was just in New York City with them, with David, and Fernando and David started piecing it up. They started doing this shit on the wall, and it was several times that happened. Several times, not one time. I was there as a bystander, looking at them paint for a significant amount of time. In multiple occasions. It wasn't just one. The same wall rolled over and doing something else. There was a Big Pun concert, right? A Bronx Big Pun Latin night. Big Pun, fucking Terror Squad, Fat Joe, and all that shit. A public one, but you still needed to pay ticket in New York City, and I was too young. So my stepdad and my mom didn't take me to go see Big Pun. So who I stayed with that entire fucking night was Fernando Carlo, Coke. So I'm sitting there making airplanes, drawing. He then wasn't recognized, didn't go commercial yet. He's massive, you know. Coke was massive through the entire '80s. But he wasn't 100% mainstream yet. He wasn't in the video. He didn't appear in the video games. He didn't appear in Grand Theft Auto yet. He didn't appear in Mountain Dew. He didn't appear in none of this shit yet. You know, he was massive since the '80s, but he wasn't full blown a household graffiti name. So I'm sitting there with Fernando Carlo inside Michi's house. Mother is in there. Michi is in there. Just me and Fernando Carlo drawing all fucking night, and I'm like, in the seventh grade. Listen to this shit. This shit fucking crazy. So I'm sitting there, one of the best graffiti artists in the world, him doing his cope like that, just doing cope, showing it to me. I'm like, yeah, nice. Me doing fucking airplanes, hills, birds, trees, animals. And I did a fucking SEM. I did an SEM then, seventh grade or something like that. Like I just did SEM. So I did SEM. Right there, and that was the first time in like seventh grade I did an SEM. And Cope helped me. He helped me do 3D right there to it, around one. I was in the middle of the Bronx all night with Cope, colored pencils, just drawing until my mom came back. And they did come back, maybe like at midnight, but I stayed that motherfucker. In one of the several locations that Cope and my stepdad painted, they had a couple wars. They showed me several of the things that they did. They started drawing next to each other objects of things, like a cherry, like a television, a refrigerator, an apple. They started doing all these types of shit real quick too. We're talking about on top of each other, filling it in, and at massive speed, just like a circle, like that. A television, angles, the dock, the antenna, everything. I seen all that shit in seventh grade. Everything. I witnessed that shit with my eyeballs. Then I left. I'm still probably in seventh grade still. I returned, and I must have stayed up there with my cousins from my stepdad's side, just up there ignoring what David what the heck was doing, and we decided to go down there to see. It's basically down the street from Fernando Carlo used to house. That huge mural, technically fucking 45 seconds or less to get there from where we were. They used to do block parties in that spot. Like they used to shut down the road and do block parties. We went to several of those, and that was when I was living in New Jersey. So I get there, and my stepdad is fucking covered in paint, in sprinkles. But I mean, head to toe in white dots. But I mean, head to toe, completely covered. Fernando, the same exact thing. Coke, the same exact fucking thing, covered in white specks, bro. Straight frosted shit. It's like if they fucking bathed themselves with specks. Like if they were just spraying each other. Like if they fucking, I don't know, like I'm talking about covered, son. Covered hair, everything, just straight white. Platinum white, all of them in specks. Candy paint, them both, son. I'm sitting there looking at this shit in 7th grade like, damn, you guys covered in paint, aren't you? And then I look at the mural, and they were doing Mike and Ike. You know, Candy, Mike and Ike? So, there were the jelly beans, not like actual jelly beans, but Mike and Ike used to be an oblong jelly-like fill, like a jelly bean, but a box. It become like a green. It used to have like only 3-4 colors only, like red, green, yellow. That's it. It's like 3-4 colors per box. Small candy full of gummies or hard, waxy, kind of long, not too long, but still light gummies. So they were doing a mural of that. Technically, the box of it, and technically the box of the Mike and Ike, and like 2 of them candies on the outside of the box. Massive shit, hardcore, insane. Talk about fucking 30 feet. Almost 30 feet long by like maybe 20 feet high. They had ladders on it, not second story ladders, but they had ladders enough to reach, to reach comfortably 10 feet. And that was one of the first times, that I seen major work in action right there, that mural. And then between that mural and the previous mural, King and Cope in front of me, with me, started piecing. So they started doing names this time. So Cope's doing names, 45-degree angle, the really sharp shit, not like the old school basic. Because Cope was kind of whack when he was younger. Cope wasn't really that complicated when he was young. Around the age that I met him, he started turning into that burner. He started making burners with 45-degree angles and like a bunch of 3D and a bunch of like pockets within the shit, like pockets 3D with pockets, all that shit. So I was there, and both of them, King, my stepdad, and freaking Cope were doing that type of shit. So in the outline, I'm sitting there just on the ground looking at them too. Within the outline, King turns around to get a water bottle, right? My stepdad turns around to get the water bottle while these two legends in the grass game are going at it. Freaking Cope, Fernando, that's a fucking penis on my stepdad's eye, bro. But I mean, a fucking penis, bro. Like, he did a fucking dickhead and a penis shaft faster than you could laugh about it. Like, regular people would just burst laughing by the head. Like, just by creating the shape of the dickhead, you would have started fucking laughing. But Cope did a fucking shaft, the dick head, and even like added like a couple drops coming at the top, just like that, like 3-4 drops. And this in seconds while my stepdad is getting down, taking a break, catching a bottle of water, not looking at his piece, and getting back to work. That my stepdad turns around, looks at that shit. He gets so fucking red, son. But I mean, both of them guys are trying to be tough, because King Destroy was, their gang and what they did. Fernando was a really tough guy, and he still kept that fucking bad guy persona. he wasn't soft, and my stepdad wasn't soft either. Like you had to be nice to him or just be soft to him, and he would slowly turn soft to you. You know, like yeah, like when you hug him, you felt that he liked to be hugged. You know, like and he was hard. My stepdad was hard. The definition of hard, not like someone who's soft, someone who put a blade in you. You know, and Cope is the same exact shit. Cope would put a bullet in you. You know, like they are not, they're gangsters. You know, we're gonna talk the real term between my stepdad and Cope. They're gangsters. You know, and it's hard dealing with gangsters as a kid because you don't have a father figure. You have the discipline. You have someone that shaves your head every once in a while as a haircut. You know, straight Marine shit. Just like you sit in a fucking chair. He wants to give you a haircut. He'll fucking buzz cut you whenever he feels you need a buzz cut because your hair is too long. So he did that, and they got both of them dudes got so red. I'm never gonna forget that day. And the fucking bitch right there. And the best thing about it, he fucking David, you know, King worked over that shit. He fixed it perfectly. He filled that shit in, and he included it as part of the actual piece. You know, it was fucking wild. But he actually finished it with the dick right there. Used the outline of the dick and made it into the fucking eye. It was fucking beautiful. So and you know the persona, my stepdad kept like a strong front always. Remember, he was big, he was fat, not fat, but he was big and strong. And but he always gave me $5. I never, I don't. He always left me money, always, always. Every morning, my mom wouldn't give me fucking money. My mom, I have to beg my mom for money. Or now that she's old, she's giving me stuff because she's 60. She has all this money, so if I ask her for something, I know exactly what to ask because it isn't too expensive, and it's usually after a long period that I haven't asked her for anything. So, but my stepdad, every day he would leave $5 out there, or $20, and it would be like $20 every 2 3 days. You know, my stepdad, whatever the fuck he had, he would give some to me, and he didn't give $20 to his kids. You know, like my mom did that. My mom gave money to his kids. He gave money to me. I was his favorite growing up. I remember him in Puerto Rico when I was a very young kid driving around in his small Suzuki Swift or three-cylinder Suzuki, and he used to go really fast with me in the car. And he was young too. He was like back then when I was really young in a car with him, and I used to be his super favorite, like the first one. He used to be downshifting, you know. I had to call it zipping in through lanes and doing all the shit while I'm almost hanging out the window. He would get me soda, smoke his Winston cigarette. Technically, all this racing shit that I have in my blood was thanks to my stepdad. I remember I was like 5 or 6 or something like that, and I remember taking water from a curb with a piece of plastic and trying to put it on a burning out tire with him one time. So imagine how crazy I was. Imagine me, a toddler still, grab water from a puddle in a curb, grab a little bit of the water from the curb, be with him while cars are peeling out in the street. And I'm sitting here face to face with a smoking tire from a car at full throttle, and I'm putting water in the spinning tire. That's what me and my stepdad did when I was growing up. That was him, 24, 25. Me and him. So the graffiti shit with me stuck. You know, the graffiti shit with me came back subconsciously. Subconsciously. I forgot I was SEM. I still did it anyway because I did SEM in high school. I painted SEM really fucking big in front near the 7-Eleven coming to high school, and I also painted the fucking bathroom. Started the fuck out high and some stupid shit. I painted the bathroom in the high school with graffiti. The only one that did that shit. And I hit a bomb too. I didn't fucking hit just a regular fucking single liner tag, son. I hit a bomb in the bathroom, son. A bomb, just like that. Yeah, like that, son. Like that. In the bathroom. 2002, 2001. Just like that shit. And then outside of 7-Eleven, big as fuck. Big as fuck. But I mean massive underneath the train shit. And nobody hit that wall too. I used to be known for that specific shit. I hit shit that nobody else hit. Just bam, 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 real big shit. Real massive shit. Like, God, and you fucking, like, I'm fucking walking. And even though I could have fucked up a little bit in one letter, like goofy shit, walking home, getting out of school at 2:35, 2:40, getting close to the 7-Eleven and looking at my fucking big ass fucking tag from a distance. At a young age, it set my character on who I was going to be later on. The shit was big. But over time, other people wanted to take my tag, obviously because of pride issues, and technically Puerto Ricans, for drug dealing Puerto Ricans, to them everything is a monopoly. Everything from not only social media but sports and fucking art and anything. And it's only the insider crew that gets to claim this cool shit. And they're straight frauds. Anyone that claims that they are me or my dad or my stepdad or coke, they're straight frauds. And that's how the real story comes. If you ask those motherfuckers when they started, they probably have a stolen black book from someone else with the same name. They just people that aren't core about who they are and when they started this shit. Just people who are looking for fame and fortune and not the real story, not the real legend, not the real shit. So, so I forgot about fucking SEM. Not too long, but I forgot it maybe for about 2 to 3 years. Then, in my with my uncle, I started painting again, little by little. I started doing SEM subconsciously, just like I did in the past. But I'm talking about subconsciously. Imagine you have a tag that you want to do tonight. Listen to this crazy shit. I don't know. This is all fucking dark in here right now. I look kind of evil. Imagine coming out to paint and you have in your mind a tag that you're gonna do. You get so fucked up using pills and cannabis, you end up subconsciously doing the same shit you always do. And that same you always do is SEM. Like, you come out and you try to do a fucking, you try to do whatever the heck you're trying to do, and you do it, right? Like, you do whatever tag you had in your mind when you came out the gate to do it. But then when you get really fucked up and all your buddies are still hitting stuff, but you're high out of your mind, you're flaring SEM. Just like, backwards SEM from the bottom up. The S from the bottom, just like, all flared. All the corners flared extra high, just like, and then E, the M, like that. But high as fuck. Extreme wall to can separation. Real flare, just high as fuck, and it's too different. To me, it's too different. Like, if the objective is to do something specific like that, you come out, it really tights the wall, it's well done. But as you start getting high as fuck, or you start disconnecting your brain from the body, and you just remain painting, and that real shit starts coming out. That real shaded McGraded, sipping on an orange soda, with a belly full of junior Mac chickens, or with a belly full of Mac doubles, about to go hit on some shit. So, I did it. I did that tag. In Puerto Rico at first, after like 4 years since having it, at around 7th grade. I had it around 7th. I forgot about it until maybe 10th or 11th grade. And forgot it again. 11th grade is when I hit that fucking massive one coming through 7-Eleven. That fucking you're walking to school, and then it's like, holy shit, this guy. That's me. That used to be me like that. When you get there, like, imagine you're sitting there, right, and you're walking from 7-Eleven, you're walking from high school, and you see like a massive fucking Coke. And to me, it was like a massive fucking set all around. But I mean a massive one. You go like, they're like, goddamn, and you see me, and I'm a tiny kid. I'm not that big. It's like, goddamn, look at this. So I forgot about that, right? did it with my uncle a little bit while drinking and driving around and doing some friends that did that. And within that particular time that I started doing it with my stepdad again, a fraud came through with a gun. A fraud came. A particular fraud came through. You know, one of these kids in the monopoly involved in cartel, involved in drug distribution, came up and said that you can't tag that, or basically took the cans from me while I was piecing. Because I started fucking piecing. And he was with Cope. But Cope knew me. He didn't know that Cope knew me, but Cope knew me. I knew Cope since, you know. that's the thing. These motherfuckers do crime, right? These motherfuckers scheme about taking people's lives, but they don't know who's is cousin. Who's is a family member of yours. So they get deep into the conspiracy of trying to murder someone, and their boss ends up a family member of mine. And like they scheming, trying to take my life because they envy my fucking life and shit. And the last person they were ever successful taking money from and selling drugs to was Lil Wayne, and Lil Wayne's cousin of mine. You know, so it makes it. And Wayne isn't someone that ain't gonna pull the trigger on me, you know, because he knows. And it's the same shit with anyone else that they met involved in the business or involved in whatever the fuck shit they try to do. Frauds, that's what happens. They land into these traps, and they think that they're successful, and they think that they're scheming, and they're trying to infect other people with their jealousy and envy, and don't realize that they're fucking with family members. And you're sitting there like, you're fucked, you know, like, it's like the second you actually shoot me, son, the bullets gotta go in your head. You know, it's like they're playing checkers, and the play's already covered. You know, it's like they're playing chess, and whenever they take a move, they die. So, between those years, I started tagging, and then I got really high. They started. I started getting help. I started getting pants. I started. Other people were starting. Other people were starting to recognize who I was. Obviously, I was having sex with artists, female artists. Were starting to just jump me and violate me straight up like that, like taking my shirt off and just wanting to be with me. And I remember one of the most famous artists from Puerto Rico, Sofia Maldonado, ended up drawing on both my arms with a pencil. But I mean, she did a full body piece, a full body with a fucking blue pen, and did not stop drawing on my body. She technically she made my entire both arms a massive sleeve. And as I was piecing with Cope in this particular location, this dude pulled up with a gun, and I just walked the scene because he aimed it at me, and I was kind of, you know, buzzed out from whatever the fuck I was doing. I walked through the field, I got out of there, and I left. And that was the last time I did SEM. For a little bit. I didn't paint anymore. Because obviously, you know, people are fucking threatening you on the street to paint. They're pulling up to the places you're painting to try to say that it was them, or just because they're better, just because they got the people extorted, and because they want to have a monopoly. But I was there with Cope. I was there with Cope after he started, and after he sort of blew up already. I was there before he blew up. So imagine how me and Fernando know each other. I knew Fernando for a while. And this is all before Crink Inc. came out, or about, you know, KR Inc. about to come out and all this. So, you know, that kid pulled up with a gun, and I had to stop. Obviously, you being pointed out with a gun to stop piecing, and the intent is to, you know, take your place. Because he has a gun, and he's gangster, and you're not. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm soft. I'm going to walk away from this shit. I walked away from that, and I didn't paint no more with HBO. I forgot about painting. I forgot about Sophia. I forgot about doing, you know, I forgot about sketching. I forgot about hitting shit. I forgot about the bomb shit. But after I hit everything, technically the person appeared with brandished firearm. Someone who's currently famous in skateboarding right now brandished the firearm, took my place after I put him on a map, or after I spread the name into infinity, you know. And that person, that famous skateboarder, currently still is likely involved in art, is likely involved in fraud, is likely, you know, develop a talent for art. slowly. He wasn't good, but he started slowly getting better. And not obviously because he was getting all the help. He started getting all the help. He started getting all the money. He started selling drugs. He started purchasing and buying cars. He got to like 100 cars at some point. So he became a drug kingpin, if that's the correct term. A drug kingpin. And me, I wouldn't hesitate. If they're gonna take his life, I would vote yes, take his life, because it's obviously someone who is dangerous in the community, and everyone knows what Puerto Rican media in general doesn't give a fuck who they put on a pedestal and who the fuck they glorify. So that's why you got all these drug dealers and all these people who deal major weight as public figures and shit. It isn't like the United States. The people in the United States could get up to distributing kilos. What they aren't doing it is obvious. The American, how do you call it, an American socialite isn't, you aren't going to see it take life. You aren't going to see it be a menace to society. They can fucking deal kilos. I don't give a fuck if they cook heroin and sell it at wholesale. But they aren't being a menace to the community. Their community is too large, and you're not going to catch it. You're not going to catch them in the crime, or you're not going to recognize them as a nuisance to the community. On the other hand, in Puerto Rico, you got these people that are public figures and are public enemy number one, and they put them on a pedestal. So fuck Puerto Rico, and that's exactly why I don't go to PR. This is just fucking trash. People are fucking trash, from the incels to the highest fucking to the people that everyone wants to be are all disgusting. So I quit. I stopped painting, like I said. I started hanging out with that entire group after me being like the founder, literally. Me being the founder or one of the starting members. They started evolving these. It stopped being bombing and it started being gangs and permits to paint. And all of this tied to colleges. So you got all these people who think that they're tough with a college behind their back, looking for permits to paint in specific walls. And they grew their fame or whatever out of it after I had already been a god on it. And that's about it. So I forget about that shit and I leave to Miami, like 2005. 2006. I meet Lady Gaga, I meet Kanye. And I meet a friend of mine who's a very famous graffiti writer from the scene in a community college. So I meet a community college and he's starting his shit. And I don't know. I picked up another tag with him. And I'm like, so with this tag? Nah, not that one. This tag? Nah, not that one. And between me and him, we decided what the fuck the tag was going to be. And it ended up being my name, but with K. But it's actually the derogatory term for a Jewish person. But, with a K, fuck. So I adopted that. On top of adopting that, listen to how fucking stupid are Puerto Ricans on top of that shit. I adopted Kike, basically my name, or Kike, as a graffiti tag. Everyone in Puerto Rico adopted. Once I returned back from Miami, everyone wanted to use K for their fucking nickname. Everyone. Imagine how much of an influencer I am that all these drug dealers and all these people are adopting the same shit. After I had already fucking plastered it across Miami for a little bit. So me and that guy were sitting there debating which tag was gonna be, what tag I was gonna be. So, and we doodled a lot. I met Rick Ross during those years too, and I met his friend or his driver named Gunplay or Richard or whatever. Fucking Christopher, Richard, whatever. Richard Morales or Christopher, whatever the fucking name. He fucking has it. They changed his fucking Wikipedia. Me, he was Christopher or Junior or whatever, but it's just Gunplay. Basically, no one was Gunplay from Fountain Blue because I know where he lived. The person that I'm talking about that I started graffitiing with basically went to his house almost weekly, and I drove him there too. So me, Gunplay, my friend, a girl named Maria, Goofy, Fell, Tactic, Lear, CEOs. This bunch of people started getting up and this fucking massive amount of writers from all these groups started getting up simultaneously. My life, those years that I went to Miami, was a clusterfuck. was a straight clusterfuck. Fucking from everything. We're talking about sleeping in the same beds, sleeping in the same beds, covered in paint, painting everywhere. It was fucking beautiful. Those years was beautiful. And like, remember I told you that you get stupid high or you get drunk or whatever, and you start tagging subconsciously some other shit. I started doing SEM2 out of nowhere. I remember being so freaking stupidly intoxicated. I'm sitting there about to tag something. They're like, "You're gonna do something." Everyone drunk as hell, high as hell. Everyone's all types of stupid. I get out and I'm sitting there like, instead of about to do Kike, it was so fucking fast ass, like, flared gray, like that, just like da da da. My boy's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "Yes, and oh my god!" He starts snapping and hitting the fucking the border of the window of the car, hitting the motherfucking wheel, the steering wheel and shit. If I did a fucking send, I basically the inner side of my conscience came out that motherfucker, like, blah, there it is. Oh, it was all flared too. Every single corner and every single stop, pause and move and that, all of that shit was flared. Like, god damn, so it started snapping because I went from trash to like a 10. You know, it went from like trash, son, straight fucking dookie, goofy shit, to a 10. Immediately, it's like, oh. Then that day, fucking one of the girls we was with in the club started fucking doing me right there, kissing me and taking off my shirt, kissing me while Nico driving shit. Shit was crazy. I called Nico. I called that graffiti friend of mine a couple days ago, and I'm guessing he's too busy or hooked on fentanyl or something. He's not answering my phone after 10 years. I haven't called him in 10 years. For some reason, recently, I decided to try to contact him or whatever, and he didn't pick up his phone. I'm guessing either his phone changed or something like that, but I hope he returns to his Facebook account so that he noticed that I tried to contact him and his number. Because he didn't answer to my text or my phone number, and it was 10 years. 10 years went by. But yeah, like, we started fucking the groups that I was in Miami, bro, substantial. I remember I could say at least 10, 20 heads that I remember that I painted with. 10 to 20 heads, bro. Like that. Extensive. Mad homie like, mad friendship, mad cruise, everyone smoking, everyone doodling. Freaking Why Not is getting up tonight. Like Kenota is getting up tonight. All types of real shit, you know, like the real graffiti underground scene. I was balls deep in that shit. Balls deep. Not like balls, I'm talking about balls teabagging deep in that shit. And we were extremely strict with that shit. No books on you, no tags on you, no caps on you in the car. Chucking cans, trying to clean the fucking residue off fingers as much as possible. Because cops were strict. Cops stopped the car but never arrested us. And they were strict as hell. They were looking for a piece of paper, all types of shit. You know, Miami police don't fuck around with graffiti. And that's where I technically continued pushing a little bit further past my 21 of age, like 22, 23 of age. What started in 7th grade. So I returned to Puerto Rico and I keep fucking doing it. I keep fucking doing it. And I started being extra. When in places nobody fucking did it. In places nobody did it, and big as fuck. But I'm talking about mass. And I was getting intoxicated too. Like, remember, you gotta get loaded to get up that courage. So I was doing my cannabis and maybe dropping a couple pills and pain. And I was leaving my mark and making it, you know. I'm pretty sure my tags in Puerto Rico got seen by millions of people. By millions. Because I was extremely specific where I hit. I wasn't just some bum that was going to make a fill or was going to pop a fill or some stupid shit like that. Was going to vandalize something that had extreme value. You know, I was going to hit the less value spot, but that everyone could see it. Meaning in front of, I got to do it in front of you. the same way we did it in Miami. I gotta do it in front of you so that a lot of people can see it. Or I gotta do it in such a wall that so many cars are passing by, kids will just turn their neck, break their neck, and go like, "Oh my God, look at this mother!" like that. I was that motherfucker. I was like that. If kids did it or parents did it, I was the look at this mother like that. I was that guy. I did that for a while, and then I quit. All of a sudden, I forgot about that shit in its entirety. I doodled, but I completely forgot about aerosol graffiti until when I started sketching really strong when I became homeless. I was sort of starting to sketch strong at the first out of those 9 years straight. Because remember, I was 9 years. I was 5 years, almost consistent out there with no home. You know, four, at least four consistent with no home. 4.5 or some shit like that. And the years before that, the 2 years before that, the transition period before being there and then leave it again, before that really long amount of time I was homeless, I sort of picked up drawing. Like a little bit, not that much. And I don't draw things, I draw graffiti. My thing is drawing graffiti. Just letters. And I'm not that good, but it's just drawing letters and getting to practice it. So whenever you get to execute a can, your brain has the memory exactly what the fuck you're gonna do. So I picked up the shit, and the 4 years I picked it up a little bit more serious because I had much more time on my hands. So I would sit down, and doodle, or kill time and doodle, and I was extremely strong. My penmanship there got stiff, precise, exclusive. I got solid, extreme repetition when I was homeless. I even visited one of the old artist females at one of her shows or whatever. I got her sticky as fuck up on my skateboard. Too bad. You know what? I tried starting a fight with one of the guards there. I'm like, do you know who the fuck I am? Get the fuck out the way and shit. They tried separating us. I was sitting there, and I didn't see her, but I think I seen her because she came out and she started lifting up her booty cheeks to me. I seen that the female that one of the females that got really famous from art in Puerto Rico, and I was just sitting outside with my pint of Gold Rum Bacardi, a cup of ice, just sitting there with my bum clothes. I basically wore almost the same thing and washed it for about 2-3 years. So she comes out, she sees my long hair. I think she sort of knows who I am, but recognized me. Turns around and starts grabbing both her booty cheeks and letting them fall down. And I turned around, I see that, and I was already through, son. I lost my libido. Those 4 years, or technically before those 4 years, technically when I think I lost my full libido in Puerto Rico around 24, 25 of age. I gave up on relationships and I gave up on women and I started surfing because I surfed the whole year straight in my life. So technically the relationship that I was with before I started surfing, or the amounts of sex that I had after I broken up with one girlfriend, and basically the 3 to 4 people that I had sex with between that final breakup, basically I had sex with a lot of people on that final breakup. Were the last ones that I ever considered. Were the last people that I sought out to have sex with. Females have sex with me, but I don't catch feelings, and that's totally different from having libido that you want to pounce on the person that likes you. So this famous artist or whatever does that with a booty in jeans, and I see that shit looking at me, and I'm like, that's so good. I'm like, yeah, that's so. So I sit my shit and I ignore her. A bunch of girls started surrounding her and shit. Her looking at me. She was kind of obese. She got really skinny and vegan all of a sudden. But she had her weight. She grabbed a little weight. And I seen her. I sort of recognized her fucking chubby cheekbone face. And she had painted across the entire building all types of shit. I've seen her drawings everywhere. Every single fucking wall inside the motherfucking buildings. You can see that shit. came out, grabbed her butt, you know, flexed her butt at me, that it moves and it flatters. And I kept sipping my drink and I left. After almost fighting the guard. You know who I am? You know the fuck I am? You don't know who the fuck I am, are you? And I start fucking almost hitting that bouncer motherfucker. And I left. And those years, I got really heavy on the penmanship. I started drawing, not too complex shit, but I got really strict on the letters. I got really strict, and I started experimenting with the letters that I started to develop. You know, I started all types of names, any name. And I became someone that just fucking does any fucking name. You know, I'm not gonna fucking do. I'm not gonna do an old tag of mine. I'm gonna do whatever fucking. I'm gonna do the most complicated fucking name I think if I ever were to do that shit again. And what else? What else do we have to say about that story? So, guess what? Guess who picked up King because she caught me, because she saw me? Lizzie Armanto, the motherfucking the public enemy number one in skateboarding. And public enemy number one in skateboarding picked up King, not realizing that King is in my family. The first time I seen fucking King, outside those 7th grade pieces with my stepdad, we're in the fucking kitchen. Listen to this shit in the kitchen. It was like 9th, 10th grade. I think I got my. I bought a significant amount of cannabis for the first time, but it was already almost done. But I bought like $80 worth of cannabis, and then it was my chunk was already gone by the first day. It was technically a little bit, maybe like $30 of cannabis, cheap Mexican weed, and I had it in my room inside a jacket. And my stepdad apparently found that shit. He was just treating me like his favorite. We're by ourselves in the morning. My brother, sister not there. My mom's not there. He's eating cereal. It's like 7:30 something. He's eating cereal and doodling, and he's doing King. But I noticed that shit. I'm in like 10th grade, about that, the English class, and smoke a fucking blunt, walking to school, and I look at him, and he's doing fucking King. And he's doing a perfect King, not like a regular goofy graffiti writer King. Nah, he's doing fucking King under King Destroyed on a brick wall with some grass and like another tune next to it on a white piece of paper. And to my surprise, after me bringing up that $30, maybe $40 for weed in my jacket that I didn't bring because I just technically left the pocket with the weed in my closet. There was 2 Philly blunts in the fucking table, and they look scrumptious because I didn't have to get a Philly blunt. You know, they look delicious. They look at a Philly, and you know that you're gonna take a Philly blunt to roll marijuana cigarillo, and you're like, damn, should I take one? I got this weed in my room. Should I take one? And I ended up taking one. Real talk. I ended up taking one of them motherfuckers and left one on the table. And then, next morning, I took the other one, like that. But my shit had been pinched. I recognized that my stepdad luckily took a little bit of my pot and smoked it when I was in the 9th grade. But we never did that shit together. You know, we never smoked together or did none of that. But he opened himself up. To graffiti shit. I saw him fucking peace. And that shit was wild. It was a fucking burner, fucking 3D on all edges. It was hard shit. Just the brain of the individual to commit to that type of fuckery takes a lot of balls. I burned it, you know. And it was hard. It wasn't some easy shit. It was some real hard shit. You know, 45-degree angle all around King. K-I-N-G. Fucking shit hard as fuck. I looked at that shit, 90s style, the brick wall, the grass, hard as fuck shit. And he wrote Kings with the Z destroyed. Never gonna forget that thing. So yeah, Lizzie Armanto, the skateboarder, picked up King and started trolling King in a couple videos, and I seen him just trying to beat me and shit. Just like a fucking dumbass. Yeah, straight goofy shit. But I don't care. You know, it's my history that's more important. People try to hide my shit. I'm the truth teller, the storyteller, and they're just the people that need to grab a rope and hang themselves. Because I'm the real deal. And after since, I haven't thought about graffiti. Oh, during that same period, I started doing color. So I started looking for color, like through the computer. I started doing the same thing that I did with my pen, but trying to draw it online or whatever. And you sort of have seen the shit that I do online, and it's all right. It depends. It could be whatever you want. Remember, graffiti is whatever you want to make it. It's not something that you have to be too strict, or you can't be too loose. It's like graffiti, street art, and art. It could be whatever you want. You could throw a paint can and it's art. So I started doing my letters, my thing online, and it's I still do it sometimes, maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, but I never push it past a month. If I'm painting a month, it means I'm gang banging. I'm on the street and I'm really interested in doing it because I'm actually doing it. And I haven't had that chance yet. You need to be with special people that you want to do it with. It's something that's specific. You want to be with your crews, with the heads you did it with. You got to go right back to people that you know to go do it. And if I'm painting for 30 days, it means I'm active out there with the actual aerosol in hand. So immediately that I paint, it can last maybe 7 days, and I'm already lucid and vivid, and I'm closing my eyes, and I've tried in 7 days all the techniques that I could think about in trying to make straight lines or designs or whatever, and then I stop because I'm not looking. Because if it extends past that 7 day mark, it's because I really want to go do it, or we're gonna do it, or I'm with groups that do it, or basically groups that don't do anything but that. And I miss those. Those were very special times in my life, being with all these people that do this shit, girls, and some of them are extremely successful now. These people are talking. Basically, the boy that I'm fucking calling, it's in the middle of fucking Wynwood. Technically, works right there where yearly fucking Art Basel happens and all the fucking walls get redesigned. So my man's is right in the middle of that shit. All the fucking females that I once knew from Miami, the real ones, the good ones, not the bad ones, are all deep, balls deep in that shit, and are technically artists, people who just stand there and protect some art and shit. You know, receptionists to art galleries, people who post, people who have uh, art exhibitions, all that shit. And I met them before. And some of them females have sex with before. So it's kind of weird. You get there to supermarket and see someone you know, it's like, hey, oh, hey, oh, how you doing? Oh, hi, how are you? I'm like, good. It starts getting all nervous, getting the food. I walk into the car. It's like, yeah, and then them stares. You're like, damn. Yeah, I'm staring at you. Remember, if you're reading my mind, I'm not like before. I'm not some fucking sex toy and shit that you get to the car and drives away. Real shit. And they're like, damn. And they all got good. But the thing is about that Puerto Rican gang culture, man, is that the last time that I went out, everyone was trying to figure out who I knew. I was being stalked. The last time I went out, the last time I went to Miami, all these motherfuckers, all these monopolists from fucking Puerto Rico, recognizing that I was hanging out with public figures like 6ix9ine, Kanye, started stalking real bad, man. And they had already started befriending before. The people that I knew in Miami, unknown if they fucking corrupted all of them, but in my life, man, people get corrupted and never pick up. So I'm guessing that person that I tried to call was probably corrupted, or was probably either confronted or befriended someone that was Miami, so they stopped talking. Because in life, man, when people envy you, they try to do everything behind you to try to close them doors. Everything from employment to friends, and if it's terrorism, if it's domestic terrorism, like I got them all locked, honed in, they don't stop. It's everyone you know, boy. If it's Al Qaeda, ISIS type shit, or the people that are my enemies are involved under closed doors with that shit, they don't stop. And what can one do? I can't do shit. You have someone, right? You have someone that's a friend that you want to do, and then you have to forget about the person because the person is now toxic or disgusting or involved with so and so, and so and so ain't good. And if it's public enemy number one, and that if it's public enemy number one, that person is going to be bought out or it's going to sell out or do some stupid shit, and it's going to stop talking to you. And it's happened multiple times in my life. Anyway, so let's shift the conversation like a virtual phone call from the bed into something else. We talked about graffiti for an hour. But after that, I didn't pay much. I just the online shit that you see. I forgot about paying. I don't pay that much. What else can I talk about? But I can keep talking about the criminals because I really want to make a whole video about the criminals and explain everything they ever did. So if it ever gets to authority, they'll have to see that shit and fucking start crying like that. I want the effect of my video against them, or my video that should set them straight to prison like that. I want to make a video so detailed and so impactful. Authorities would just look at my video and say, yeah, those motherfuckers, we're locking up now for you. We're locking them up now for you, bro. Like that. Like that. That's what I want to do. I want to make a video so detailed about these figures. Public figures or regular people. 6 or 7 of them so organized and so criminal. Not the DA, but yeah, the DA office, FBI, ATF. Look at that shit. Just look at that shit. Look at the faces, and they go, "Yeah, my man's telling the truth. We gotta get them fuckers now." That's what I want to do, but I need more time. I don't feel like doing that shit now. I don't feel like doing that shit now. But it'd be amazing for that shit to happen. It'd be fucking perfect. It'd be fucking perfect for all these toxic motherfuckers. All the shit these motherfuckers did to me for my whole life are suddenly sentenced and sent away. And even my family has to go, man. In my opinion, the concept of the own concept of the safety of my own security, my future employment, my job, my car, my personal property, my family can't know after this where I go. It's something that's extremely fucking delicate. My parents can't know because I think my father is playing both sides. And it's an active, how do you call it? I gotta take a proactive approach from people that may seem as family members, but they really don't want you to succeed in whatever the heck you want to succeed at. And let's see if I can do this. Backwards. See me now, or am I back? But I don't want the microphone up. I want the microphone down. I can't keep it how it was. But yeah. My father is still befriending all these fucking bombs. My father befriending these bombs. My father befriending or has his friends, these people that try to take my life. People that want my place in life. Trying to get monetization, trying to get paid for it, the same as my mom. Treating me like if I was Britney Spears, conserving what I do, or giving the benefit of the doubt to these criminals. They can't know where I go. They can't know if I got a car or not. They can't go if I have a job or not. Because this type of personal information leaves them. This type of personal information that I'm mentioning right now leads them precisely to the location where I'm going to. And we're talking about criminals with a lot of fucking money. We're not talking about people that are short in change or whatever. We're talking about people that have $100,000 of money in from drugs and shit, or from life, or from how successful they are. We're talking about people that have physically stopped and look to do specific shit to me because I'm just too lucky for them. I'm always, like I said, ahead of the curve. They make a mistake, they get shot by my own family, and it's part of the situation. It was part of the motherfucking situation, dealing with people that are mentally ill and envy you, and it's just the concept of poverty in Puerto Rico, that they don't want to see certain people succeed because everything good has happened only to them, and they don't understand why everything good has happened only to them, because they're fucking evil, because they're ugly, because whatever fucking problem that you think they have, they have. It isn't. It isn't because I am trying to tip the scales to my favor doing specific shit. Everything that I've accomplished in life, either now, future, later on in life, is because I took a decision to do certain shit, or because I just have talent. It's something that they can't fuck with. That I have the time to focus on certain things that led me to be successful. Not because I'm focused on having a job and selling baggies of weed to my friends and shit like that. That's all they are. That's where they started from. They started from weed to assault to robbery with guns, to GTA, to major fraud. It's just kids that you think are kids involved in the worst fucking shit. Up to fucking aggravated assault, and murder and shit. Some of them are fucking murderers. Word of mouth on the street, murderers. And if my family is playing both sides, you can't trust them. They can't know if I get a motorcycle. They can't know where I go. Or I just stay here and be a nobody with a doctorate in my house for the rest of my life. Or I lose my life. Technically, I literally lose my life for just being here with them, recognizing what they're gonna do next. Because I'm not dumb, and I wasn't born yesterday. That's what happens. It takes them a second to blurt something out, or someone else actively communicates with them that's seen me, and they get involved. Because they all want to lie here. Everyone that's here that's done all this evil shit to me want to lie. That all the fucking, about all the shit they did, about all the stalking across the 5 years, all because I started hanging out publicly. They all wanted to get involved. They all wanted to get paid. They got paid, and I didn't take $1 because I'd rather keep a friendship than $1. I'd rather be the guy that didn't get in trouble, not take the money from someone who's a billionaire. I'd rather not take shit from no one. I just be that person. Be that person that knows that person, or that person that was kind to. Rather be that person that person was kind to, than be that person that they took something from me, or a piece of me, to make their life better. I don't need other people to make my life better. And the people that I got my sights on are capable of looking to stop my success after a long time of hard work. And they've done it previously, and they'll do it again. I could ride waves for the rest of my life. They'll try to be there in the middle so you don't make them. I'll try to skateboard and get really good for a substantial amount of time in my life. They'll try to be there. The second you're about to make something, nah, not you. They'll start, tipping the scales to their favor, doing specific shit, so that they don't select you for smears, the bribes, all that shit. And then now with employment, 10 years in college, I can't let them throw away 10 years of college, because they're just interested in my site. They're interested in my goal. They're interested in my investment. They're interested in my car. They're interested in my property. They're interested in anything that I would like to get. That's what Puerto Ricans are. Scum. Trash. They don't have intellect. They have their ability to be collective, their ability to want to be you so bad. They're so stupid. They're out there downvoting. Whoever the fuck knows me, they're out there downvoting my music videos with no views. Who the fuck does that shit? You know, like, so fucking stupid. The first views and they're all downvotes. That's how stupid you are, you know? Just already just trying to skew the, you know, trying to generate a false impression on other people about you. And you learn about it. Once you recognize who they are, you could spot them a mile of fucking away. You could spot them miles of fuck. You could spot them miles away. And you can't play without my employment right now. My employment is important. You can do the rest of the other shit, but they're fucking with the job. They're not only fucking with the job. They're only fucking with my future job. They're gonna try to fuck my future job, but they're also gonna try to fuck my future artist name. That's what I'm going for. I'm aiming for that. They recognize that I'm aiming for that. Therefore, they're already generating those false impressions. But what I'm not going to give them is my future stage name. You know, I'm not going to give them a name. I'm not going to put my I'm not going to put my initiative on it. That's exactly what they want. They need the stage name to smear, and you can't give them the stage name. They will get the stage name once I'm in and once the label decides my stage name. And that's when they will start shitting bricks, because everything I say comes true. And everything they try to do fucking fails. No matter how many fucking celebrities they try to take their money from. No matter who people they rob, no matter how many people they finesse, no matter how many family members or kids they got, they're inferior. Something that the mind recognizes the people who are inferior and who aren't inferior. And I play chess. I play 3D chess, 4D chess, and they don't. They're just people who are about to make a huge mistake and get rammed down by cops with firearms or with blades or weapons and shit again, and be sent, you know, catch a record or have to lie about lie about their identity again after being caught when commanded by the police. And I stay saying who I am to the police if they ever were to come to me. And I'm not putting this facade. I'm not lying to myself about what I want to do to other people. Yeah. I'm the truth. They're the fake. They're not the real. I'm the 100% raw like milk. But yeah, they're hoping I already figure out some stage name, and I'm not gonna do that. I'm waiting for the label to do that shit for me. Label gonna be like, so I got like 3-4 names right here. What do you want? I'm gonna be like, am I that? It's like a pop. It's like, oh, so am I that? What's my name? What's my artist name now? This is my stage name? Ooh, like that. And they're gonna give me choices, and I'm gonna select one, and that's gonna be my stage name for life. And after I get my stage name, I start creating websites with that name, album covers, and all that shit. I'm gonna do that. It's gonna happen while I'm a hobo. This shit gonna happen when I'm a doctor and I'm a hobo, or when I'm just a transient person that sleeps anyway. But what's eventually going to happen is that once I stop going to school, they're gonna kick me from here. They're gonna figure out an excuse or fight or some stupid shit. And they're going to figure out a way to yell at me. It's like, oh, you don't go to school, you got to go from here, or some shit like that, like 40 years old. And that's the temporary solution to when my mom dies, which absolutely is going to happen. You know, that's 20 years down the road. She's 60 now. So 20 years down the road, it's about to happen. You know, it's things that you cannot control. So I'm about to go out there, be in the street again like a bum with 40 years old, 40, 50, 60 years old. But it's going to be a little smarter guy. It's not going to be the same kid as before. It's going to have a little bit more intelligence. It's going to know what to do, what not to do. staying occupied and doing what he has to do. So I don't know. That's her job. Obviously, avoiding all the people that want your place, because that's the problem with society. The less qualified are eager to jump from point. That's not how it works here. I'm not here to put a bullet in someone's chest for what I believe and shit like that. I'm not here to put a bullet in someone's chest for someone else's music and their stage name, because there's people fucking out there, bro, for the fame and fortune, because you're about to be famous and be tied to a label. They'll put a bullet in you because they want to be you so bad, because they want your fucking music, because they want your fame, because they want your fucking a BMW supercar, just like XX Tentacion. Humanity is flawed in all types of evil shit, and I smell that shit 1,000 billion% away. 1,000 billion%. I used to have really straight teeth. My teeth all types of crooked, but it's alright. It gives me identity. It gives me fucking identity. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to pick up as a conversation piece, man. It's my first from bed communication experience. It's actually more comfortable to do it like this. Just sit there right now. Just sit there. The iPad in your bicep. I just stay talking shit. Talking that shit. You gotta think about something. So I've talked about paranormal activity, graffiti, the people who are evil, my life. Like I always talk about the same shit. I got many stories to tell. What should I speak about before I start passing out being here? Or I start getting bored and wanting to play the cell phone game? Bro, I'm on almost level 3,000 in Toon Blast, son. You know that shit is? Level 3,000 in Toon Blast. Although, 3,000 used to be the end of the game previously, but now they added a bunch of levels, so I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going until I hit the end of it. Oh, and I got the third place. Like, sometimes when I catch these strings of locking ability or lock and solving ability on that mobile game, I got the third place in the world. So, our third place in the world is our third place in Toon Blast. But I work the puzzle real fast, bro. I work them puzzles extra fast. I'm sitting there anticipating 5 or 8 moves to make a bigger puzzle. It's like a 3D observation shit. It's like a 3-dimensional observational thing that you can't explain if you do it slow, but you just do for the game to crack and for you to finish the particular stage or whatever, like that. Like just say, that third place, got a bunch of gold. I'm in like 20,000 in gold, close to 20,000 in gold. Always 10 of everything saved up, and I always pick it up, and dependent on how good the streak is, I start cracking and locking them puzzles real quick, cranking them out. It's like in 2 or 3 moves, son. Like that. Just like blah, 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 blah. Next one. Boom, boom, like that. I'm really fast on Toon Blast, son. Third place for the point scored a couple times. Those lightning bolts, depending how many stages you clear real quick is how many lightning bolts you get. So you get the most lightning bolts, you start moving up to the fastest guys. I'm a third. I'm like right there. Yeah. Bunch of fucking gifts for being up there. We're doing that shit real quick. I want to think about shit to talk right now. I'm losing my ability right now on shit to talk. Wait, hold on. Can I move the camera? Ah, it's because the camera on the other side. I see how it is. I see. I don't know what to say or talk about anymore. It's literally turning into a sleeping stream. I don't know what to say. I gotta think about something. Hold on. I have an idea. I think it's the darkness that's making me fall asleep. I'm gonna change the color of my light to something more exclusive so you guys can see my face. Look at the Cellphone. Cellphone fucking don't send me shit. You see this fucking auto shit will start breaking phones. That auto update shit, eventually that shit must start breaking phones. It's like bang. Brick phone, all because of a stupid update. I'm sitting there waiting for my phone to open. Thank you. No terms and conditions and shit. Fuck that shit. Fine. Scene. There's a light. It's like some type of emergency. Oh, let's do a green one. So yeah, playing these old games don't bore me. But it's just a performance-wise. You guys notice that when I drive, it feels like I'm driving like shit. It's just that I'm really uncomfortable. For you to drive properly, for you to drive properly, you gotta be comfortable. And in my opinion, I am not fucking comfortable when I drive. And it's a specific pose of the body when you drive. But I mean, it's extremely specific. It's extremely specific of the pose of your body to be comfortable to drive. The elbows, the steering wheel is too high. The elbows are locked by my. The elbows connect with the rest of my chair. The pedals are not in the right spot. So if you see me losing or not really perfect, it's because my ergonomics are fucked. You know, I try to force my ergonomics to a certain extent, tight on the wheel, but you start losing timing. Like you start granny driving or at the top, holding the wheel, holding more of the wheel to the higher, more more of a swivel steering wheel than a keel, because technically when you drive really good, the keel is like the bottom. You know, you technically start holding the steering wheel at the bottom of the circumference. It's just more down. You know, it's way more stiff and it's way more controlled at the bottom. In addition, that it's a cheap fucking. It's not cheap. It's still $100, but the the sensation of drive itself isn't something that's so smooth. It's just fucking $300 to get a good wheel, and one doesn't know if you buy a new wheel and it feels the same. I know. Gotta check if the electronic type is a little bit more smooth rather than the slingshot type, to be a much better driver within it. But overall, the symmetry of the chair and everything else isn't good for driving. I try to do my best on it, and sometimes I can keep up, but I blame everything on either the lack of sensitivity of the wheel or my ergonomics. Because I'm sitting here, it's either I have a pocket on my back because I can't lean back all the way back, or I'm too in the front. So it's really hard for me to drive properly playing the driving game. Although it gives me practice. I haven't driven, bro. You know how long I haven't driven? I haven't driven since I was 24 of age. Listen to that shit, and I'm 40 now, close to 40. I haven't driven one time. That's a good thing. That's a good thing to talk about. I used to drive places 120 fucking miles an hour constant. Like that. 120. Not like swerving in traffic. Just like a bullet. I used to be that guy. And then I stopped driving completely. No cars, the homelessness shit. When all the problems started, no vehicle. People tried to get me a vehicle. None of that shit. Everyone's just trying to get me to fail like they do, because mostly people in life just like to fail and like to fall in these same traps. And to me, a vehicle is a trap, economic trap, and all these types of, psychological trap, all this shit, because you focus on it too much. So, 25, I stopped driving. 26, 27, 28, 29. 25, 26, I was already done with driving. In 10 years. So, the driving games at least release that tension, or give me the mimicker. It's highly similar to driving on the road. So you want to do it, and like, yeah, right. You're trying to drive like you've driven before. I should be looking for Craigslist. I should be looking in Craigslist for the wheel that I want. I'm pretty sure I could find it used. I just need to focus around and look for it, look for a driving wheel and get it. And then I would have two. And hopefully it's in perfect condition too. It's like, I don't use this no more. Yoink. And it's electric, not like electric with resistance, not with the rubber. Because the rubber, I'm guessing somebody abused mine, because mine was brand new. Somebody fucking abused mine and started yanking on it when I wasn't here, or did it while I had it set up behind my back, and it's extremely sensitive one way, and not sorta that resistant on the other. So I'm focusing on the flaws on the device and trying to figure out how to get a better driving experience. Because I want it smooth. I want it nice and smooth so that I can have a lot of fun in it, or that I feel that I'm having fun. Because being 16th place and shit, that's not fun. That's like forcing yourself to do something you can't with the current hardware. Or not with the current hardware, but the game's on easy. I'm supposed to be winning, but something that you can't do based on the hardware or whatever. Because you're not that comfortable. You are too you're too granny, you know, like when you drive on a sim, you're supposed to be extremely comfortable for most of, you know, for the mind-body connection to occur. And I'm not getting that mind-body connection. And that's why I suck. Or maybe it's that I have a stroke, or that I'm stupid, or I forgot how to drive after driving so good for so many years. One doesn't know why that is happening. But whatever. It's part of life. It is part of life. 126 an hour, 26. I'm pretty sure this video is gonna be more interesting to my viewers than the other ones. You guys don't like to watch me play games, but you guys like to look at me. It's pretty funny. You guys prefer looking straight at me and shit. You guys prefer looking straight at me and shit than watch me play, and I'd rather have you guys like to watch me play than the other way around, but fuck it. So yeah, I don't drive. I do ride a bicycle, so a motorcycle would be nice, but I would have to go real slow in that motorcycle. If I get like a 250, I'm driving it like a bicycle, almost on the shoulder and slow for the distance, if you know what I mean. It's like like that, and completely parking if the road is wet, and doubting my abilities to ride when wet. Bro, I rode the closest thing that I rode. I've ridden a motorcycle before, but like a dirt bike, and I've ridden how do you call those fucking things? The seat down scooter types. And I remember I rode a seat down scooter type, not in the rain, but in humid roads. I got really fucking far from it. And I was about to go up a particular fucking hill, and it scared the shit out of me. And it's probably the same way how a motorcycle would fucking scare the shit out of me. Basically, hills going up are out of the question. So, like, you're down, maybe. Going downhill, that could be alright. But it's just that it's something about the momentum of the motor and the motorcycle, you know, the weight under you and how you're moving, that inclined ascents on a motorcycle are something that geometrically not everyone is used to. You just literally want to get off that. You want to get off it because you're grabbing onto it, right? You're sitting upright, your back is in a 90-degree angle, and you're holding on to it, but you aren't like a bicycle. You know, your bicycle, the pressure should be like on your feet or on between your balls or some shit like that. You know how you try to, if you have a really low gear set on a bike and you sit down, and if the incline, it's not too much, but it's going up, but it's substantial. You sit down and you pedal up. You don't get up and pedal and crank with your feet, your butt up the seat, but you sit down and you pedal. You feel that pressure between your midsection and between your legs isn't there on a motorcycle. When you feel on a motorcycle, when you press the gas and want to go uphill, and not on a steep uphill, on a slight uphill, your body's sliding off the motorcycle. You're literally sliding away from it, and it gets fucking bad. Like, and I see myself purchasing some cheap motorcycle or some brand new motorcycle and sitting on that motherfucker and going up a hill, it wouldn't feel right to me. I would not want to go uphill with it. I mean, I'm guessing it should be alright to go uphill with it, but it's just the feeling of about to slide back on it as you're holding on to the wheels. You know, you go on a particular speed, and if it's steep enough, your body's going back. You know, you're sliding off the seat, about to fall off the bike instead of being in some type of seat that your butt is firmly on the seat going up. You're sliding back, so it's scary as fuck. It is it's fucking, and those who ride a bike, those who ride a motorcycle, or those who are beginners, aren't like experienced, could explain what I'm trying to tell you. It's fucking crazy. So on a scooter, in a wet day, remember I drove around without license and none of that, out on city roads or whatever. I took one and I went on the ride, and I was on the scooter, you know, the sit down ones, just driving around on that shit at night and with wet and no headlight either, just dark, straight darkness. Freaking, I get to this bridge, I cross the bridge, I get to the massive fucking hill, and I stop right there and I turn around, because I'm not, you know, I know exactly what was going to happen to me if I tried, and I wasn't gonna go. Like the motorcycle could likely get me up the hill, but I don't have the experience to go up the hill, and it's scary because it's not, you know, when I stopped and turned around, that shit was massive. You know, the hill was like steep as hell, up, just like up into the sky. Like, nah, fuck that shit. And he's like, nah, brake, turn around, I'm not going up this shit. And even a little bit, you feel the sensation when you want to slide out of the motorcycle. And you're sliding back like, you know, like you're getting farther from the handle. You know, your hands are extending, you're getting farther from the handlebar as you're moving up. It's just fucking weird. It's fucking weird. And then, if you think about it, if you focus on having to stand on the bike, you might start sliding because you're applying more pressure to the point of to the center to the point of gravity in the center of the bike. So if you try to stand on the bike and throttle, you might peel the wheel. You know, you might actually peel the fucking wheel while moving up. It's just crazy shit. So yeah, that's all I do riding. Right? My prime, I'm like a Dutch man. I'm from Holland or Amsterdam, or Copenhagen. I'm a bicycle. I go A, B, a bicycle. Cars were in my blood for a little bit, but I stopped using them. I stopped looking for them because I can't afford them. It's something that you're not going to throw lots of money on something that I have too much envy and too much malice around me for me to have a car. If I was in a very valued and highly ethical family, I wouldn't doubt my abilities to have a vehicle because I knew it would be safe. But with family members that might do anything to a vehicle behind your back, but just try to give you a loss, it's best to have stuff that you can maintain or stuff that they could vandalize, but nothing happens to them. Yeah. So I'm gonna shut down the stream. It was nice having on this sleepy stream. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. I am going to look for Craigslist and look for driving steering wheels to see if I find an electric one that's in working order, so that I upgrade a little bit from the bungee jump cord one. I mean, it's all right for $50, but I want a bigger wheel. I want something more quality. I'm looking for a wheel, even though it's for the same bullshit games. I don't play nothing much. That's all. My computer's old. That's all my computer could play. That's all I could play forever. So I want to make the best of them. And I don't get consoles or televisions or none of that because you leave all that shit behind. I'm a bum. I'm an indigent man with a doctorate. I'm a star, but I'm an indigent man with a doctorate. I'm not actively pursuing relationships or looking for homes. I'm just a bum under a tree. I'm the best kept bum with no home you've ever seen. I look like I shaved my head, like I did before. Look at me. I remember I shaved my head. Look at that. Look at this meme right there. Record it. Screenshot this face right here. With no hair. There's no hair there like this. But yeah. I'm gonna shut down the stream and look for a motherfucking wheel. Or just, did the shit that I always do. Play the video game, go on TikTok, shop online, and pass out. It's already, it's looking like I'm about to just eventually listen to, look at TikTok, look at the phone, and drop everything and pass out. So, hope you guys enjoyed my streams today. I had a couple. They were all full of music. Sorry about that. They had no face, no microphone. So you guys aren't interested in looking at that shit anyway, so I'm not even gonna hope. Someone did comment yesterday. I saw that comment. Thank you very much for the comment yesterday. But having a microphone on loud music and loud driving is not a good idea. I would just crash. Why the heck would I want to speak while driving? Especially if I'm gonna be there going fucking 50 laps or some shit, speaking while doing it. I'll lose the number, and I'm still doing 16 fucking place. I'm still trash. So. I'm not that trash, but it's hard keeping your place in it. I don't know, maybe it's that difficulty or the tracks or the AI is hard. I don't know if it's the AI or the tracks, or maybe it's just the wheel, or maybe it's just the pedal. I gotta figure out what the fuck is wrong with it so that I win more races, because I used to win a lot of races, and it's demoralizing. Why do you play a game if you're going to lose? And it seems that every single game that I try to play online is just for losers. I'm a loser on every single one of them, when I used to be on games that I used to be a winner. Or I'm guessing all the games that most people win at are mostly console games. That could be the main argument here. Computer games are harder to win at, selection-wise. GTA, GTA 5 or some shit like that. GTA 5, Force, anything on a PlayStation 5, the controller and the television. It's easier to feel accomplished that you win than the games that I have available on my computer, plus likely hardware deficiencies. I'm guessing hardware. It's not me, because I know I drive really good. And obviously ergonomics, because I'm not comfortable. I'm not that comfortable. I don't have the proper symmetry. I don't have the proper symmetry to drive in a particular way. What I could do is probably put the steering wheel backwards. That'd be some crazy shit. Put the steering wheel backwards, something that I've never done. I don't think it will work. I'll put it backwards, swap the shifts, and see if it's a little bit more comfortable like that. There's a particular way that you have to be comfortable to drive, always. If not, you're not going to drive good. Your center isn't going to be balanced. You're always going to end up swerving a little bit. And I see myself doing that. And I try to stretch out. And lean back so I can drive a little bit more balanced or in the center of the road. And I'm always left and right on it. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm going to shut down the stream. Thank you very much for watching my streams. Chart to store 5K. My first, not match. It's my first stream from the bed. Sleepy stream. A streamer that just streamed from his bed. Peace.